if I put a scratch on this monitor, can I take it with me and y'all get a new one as you insert? I like that. That's neat.
Yes, it is.
And here, if you can get a shot at it, Mike, that is their radar. You depend greatly on that to
very much so. You can
plan headaches.
Most of the time, you can start looking, and when you start seeing those, especially something like this up in Covington County, then we can start.
Right along here around Apalachicola, right there. Those folks might be
right.
a little headache now.
But if it was up in Covington County and moving towards Geneva County, then we start getting on our P's and Q's.
His headache. Explain this to us, if you will, please, sir.
That is our SCADA system. We have 15 substations that serve our 25,000 consumers. At the present time, we have 10 of those substations that are online. And when I say online, it means that all the switches and everything inside those substations we can control remotely from here. We can close it. If there's a switch open, we can close it. If a switch needs to be open, we can open it. If it's closed, we can open it from here. So it facilitates the restoration of service very much so when we have people out on the line that are working and we need to de-energize something momentarily so that they can make a connection somewhere or another. I can do it from here rather than a truck having to drive 4 or 5 miles or 10 miles to get to that substation to be able to open that switch so that we can work safely.
Amazing. Now, I want to bring in Brad on one side and Mark on the other. You guys work together, you're a team. Power South provides the electricity. It's distributed by Wiregrass Electric Cooperative and 15 other cooperatives around the state of Alabama and parts of Florida. Mm-hmm. Now, these maps can also mean something to you, the power supplier, you, the distributor. And I want y'all to kind of go through step by step the planning ahead. All of a sudden, a subdivision opens up that's going to build 200 houses here. That's a load on you, the distributor. Mm-hmm. It's also responsibility for you, the provider, to the distributor. Absolutely. So how does all this go back and forth, and how far ahead are substations planned on your part? Mm-hmm. And you got to generate this power.
We do. We've got a plan for it, and we've got a plan to build the generation plant if we have to add additional generation to cover the load that they have coming on. So it truly is a partnership. And it all starts with load forecasting. We meet with our member systems each year, and we plan a load forecast, and we plan a 10-year load forecast. We're planning out 10 years ahead. So they're predicting what their load's going to be and how it's going to grow each year. And then from that, we determine, okay, do we build a new generation plant to take care of that load and the other member systems load, or do we purchase power from other utilities? So it's a lot of planning going into getting the electricity in that home so that customer can flip that switch.
And when you know that the plans are there for that subdivision, that shopping center, mm-hmm. That might be 2 years, 3 years out from it construction ever taking place, there's a certain amount of gambling that takes mm-hmm. place here. Do you go ahead, because it is a responsibility to the members who own the company to pay for that?
Well, that's right, and that's why planning is so key. We spend a lot of time with our partners, Power South, telling them what we see going on, mm-hmm. Looking at load growth over, the past year, and what do we see, what are we hearing, what kind of economic development is taking place, what kind of recruiting efforts, businesses. We're working with chambers of commerce, Matt Parker, those guys that, recruiting industry here. Well, how's that going to affect us? How's it going to affect our load? And how's it going to affect Power South in the generation planning of that load? These substations you see here represented on our SCADA system, it takes about 3.5 to 4 years to get a substation sited, permitted, built, and ready to provide a power source. Well, a lot can happen in 3, 4, 5 years. So you don't want to build it too soon because you don't want to have that added cost to the member paying for something that we're not needing or not using, or you don't have the load there to help recruit that investment. But you can't wait too long either, because then you have you know, the power's not there, and then there's outages, and that's not good either. So it's a fine.
Now, there's overload of the system, and you run into all kind of brick walls.
And it takes us 10 to 12, 14 years to build power plants in some cases. You know, natural gas-fired power plants we can build much faster, but we have to go through the same steps to
You've
build the
got
generation.
to go through permits,
Yes, we do.
licensing, and it's
Absolutely.
a step-by-step thing.
Mhm.
People who want to keep up, if you're a member of Wiregrass Electric Cooperative, this is an example, you want to keep up with what's going on with your company, whether it be the power you get from Power South and Mark and his crew, or the distribution you get from Brad and his crew. And by the way, if we run out of time, thank you, Larry.
Thanks, sir.
These beautiful ladies over here, they are so kind.
Tammy Bird, Amber Jones, yes.
There they are. And they might be the voices you hear
That's right.
a lot of times when you call. How can you keep up the average customer with what's going on?
Well, that's a great question. We think we have a much better way of communicating, like outages, for example. This outage map here is on our website. This is live. Should there be an outage, well, it's being automatically booked in our OMS. It's integrated into this live outage map here, so our members or anyone in the community can go to wiregrass.coop, click on our outage map, and they can see live firsthand where the outages are, how many's affected, and kind of keep up with it along with our dispatchers. They can see
So,
what they
so
see.
for example, when the storms blew through Geneva, Houston
Right.
County the other day, and it started over around south of Malvern, I could have started seeing dots pop up here, and the progression of it.
Yeah.
And he's laughing, but he used some goody powders that day, I think. But you could watch the progression of it, and if you were, say, over here in this part of Houston County, and you weren't watching the weather, you could almost anticipate the storm was heading your way.
That's right. Of course, a lot of people say, well, why, if I'm out of power, I don't have any way to look at a computer. Well, that's not always the case. These smartphones.
I've started reaching smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, communication is the key. The communication to that customer so they know what's going on.
That's right. That's right. Our website, we really put a lot of emphasis on it. It's really like another branch office for us. It's never closed. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our website, you can do most anything really that you could do in person. So, we encourage people to look at our website. We try to communicate. Power South sends us a bunch of things. Energy efficiency, they help us in a lot of ways. Energy efficiency is one of them. So again, that's a good tool for people to track us, keep up with what's going on at Wiregrass.
And again, make sure you got your correct phone numbers. All
Yes.
the numbers that you need for the account to be noticed and to be identified. In some cases, if you're a business, you may have as many as 20 different accounts. Now, they can scan through and find out where the problem is. There's so much going on. Power South, Mark Ingram, Brad Kimbrough, Wiregrass Electric Cooperative, and their entire staff. Thanks for opening your doors to us.
Thank you, my friend.
And
Appreciate it.
anytime,
Always a pleasure.
always a pleasure. And if you got power, chances are if I'm on early in the morning or the news crew is there all day, you can find out because they keep us informed on what's happening with you and are about to happen to you as far as your power is concerned. And the weeks to come, we hope to visit Mark over in Andalusia, Covington County, and show you some different ways power is generated from Power South. Thanks for joining us.